you to Craig for speaking up. It is clear that Kentuckians want medical cannabis. A total of 37 states, the District of Columbia, Guam, Puerto Rico, and the U.S. Virgin Islands all allow cannabis for medical use by qualified individuals. In May of 2021, Alabama legalized medical cannabis. This year, Mississippi and Rhode Island did the same. Kentucky's neighboring states of Ohio, Illinois, Missouri, and West Virginia have legalized medical cannabis. Those are red states, those are blue states. It's not about red versus blue. It's about helping our people. So after hearing directly from Kentuckians over the summer, today I'm announcing 2 executive orders. First, I'm signing an executive order that will allow Kentuckians who meet specific criteria to possess and use small amounts of medical cannabis that is legally purchased in another state to treat specific health conditions beginning January 1, 2023. I want to be clear that there are several required conditions to qualify, and we can put them up. First, the cannabis must be lawfully purchased in the United States. In a state where the purchase is legal and regulated, you must keep your receipt. That's proof that you bought it at one of those places. Second, the amount a person can purchase and use at any one time must not exceed 8 ounces. That is the difference between a misdemeanor and a felony under Kentucky law. Each person must also have a certification from a licensed healthcare provider that shows the individual has been diagnosed with at least one of 21 medical conditions, which include cancer, multiple sclerosis, post-traumatic stress disorder, muscular dystrophy, a terminal illness, and others. You must keep a copy of your certification. A complete list of those conditions is included in the executive order, which will be posted on our website and social channels. We're creating a palm card for law enforcement so they can easily determine with each of these conditions whether or not they are met, and we believe we've set it up in a very clear way to where any law enforcement official can very quickly identify if they have been. Today's action means that Kentuckians suffering from these chronic and terminal conditions will soon be able to get the help they need without living in fear of being charged with a misdemeanor. In the second executive order, I'm taking action to make sure the state is regulating the sale of Delta 8. So Delta 8 contains THC, but at a lower level than marijuana. It is not a controlled substance in Kentucky nor under federal law, and a Northern Kentucky court has ruled that it is legal in Kentucky and enjoined any law enforcement related to it. But right now, there are no checks on how it's packaged and or sold. So we must establish a regulatory structure to ensure that Delta 8 is sold, packaged, and purchased safely in the Commonwealth. The structure can and will serve as a template for when the General Assembly fully legalizes medical cannabis. It means we can train our ABC officers. It means we can have the right regulations in place, and it means we can accelerate any timeline in the future when the General Assembly does the right and necessary thing to fully legalize medical cannabis. These are actions that I can take as governor to provide access to medical cannabis and relief to those who need it to better enjoy their life without pain. But let me be clear, today's actions are not a substitute for much needed legislation. There are limitations on executive authority, and we are seeing those here today. Because of those limitations and the need, I'm sure that there are some that will say our actions don't go far enough, or maybe they go too far. What we're trying to do is take a measured step to help those that are struggling while ensuring they can purchase from a safe and reliable place, and ultimately nobody should feel like a criminal when they can legally purchase it in one of our neighboring states and use it in another. So I'll be working with and pushing lawmakers this upcoming session for full legalization once again. It passed the House the last several sessions. It's time that it passed both the House and the Senate. And if it's passed in a way that helps our people, we'd be able to rescind these executive orders because the legislation would take its place. Let me also add that the orders are flexible. I've met with leadership from both the Fraternal Order of Police and the Kentucky State Police, and I've pledged that we'll work with them to address any unforeseen consequences that can be done as simply as amending the executive order. But legalizing medical cannabis will not only further support those suffering from chronic illnesses, it would also support our farmers. Full legalization. It would create job growth. Again, full legalization of medical cannabis. Our economy is ready for this new industry. We've already seen record-breaking economic growth and jobs being created over the last 2 years. We've seen the largest general fund surplus in our history, actually the two